Rev up your engines!
Now, here's one of the biggest reasons I tell people not to buy electric cars today, and that is Toyota says they are working on game-changing battery technology. Do you want to buy a car that's got a crap battery that doesn't last long, doesn't go far? No, you want one that goes a long way. Well, Toyota claims they're working on an updated lithium-ion battery that can go 621 miles. Now, that's pretty much a game changer if they can do it. But then they say they're going to be able to have solid-state batteries that can go 745 miles and that recharge really quickly, right? Now, these solid-state batteries could be ready for marketing and sales by 2027. So that's still 4 years from now. This is why I say, wait, hold back on buying an electric car or you're getting the wrong technology probably, right? Now, who knows? Maybe by 2027 they won't have solid-state batteries. That's why I say, wait, and even myself, I don't trust anybody, including Toyota. Let's say they started selling solid-state electric battery cars in 2027, right? I'm not going to buy one. It'll be the first ones out. Well, they've been out 3, 4, 5 years. Let's see if they hold up over time and last, right? I don't want to buy a car and have the battery go bad when it's 2, 3 years old, when that battery costs, $10,000, $20,000. Of course not, right? If you're thinking about electric cars, just dream on to the future until they start getting them a little bit better. And of course, maybe by then they'll make more power plants and better electrical transmission lines. I kind of doubt it, knowing how the government goes and all the corporations, I don't see that happening anytime soon. Everywhere I go in this country, the infrastructure's starting to fall apart, especially in the older sections. And all of a sudden, what? They're going to have this fantastic, shiny, brand new electric infrastructure for the new cars? I wouldn't bet the farm on that one. Well, here's the further story of the man who had his oil drain plug stripped at a dealer. They screwed him over even more. Listen to this. Nicholas Tangay says, so the dealer refused to help me out with the drain pan situation. In order to get him to release my car, I had to pay the $757 for the oil drain pan. I can get home and see the paperwork, and they're trying to say I came in there claiming to have oil leaking from my drain plug on the driveway. They're absolutely refusing to take accountability to the point that they are falsifying paperwork. On the bill it says he was complaining about an oil leak, right? He was not. He wasn't leaking. But then they make this fake paperwork, so if he ever goes after him, well, he came in to get his oil drain fixed. That's why it's on the paperwork. That's the whole thing. They'd be like, you drive your car and it runs fine. You get it back, it's running like crap. Then they'll make out a fake receipt that says, customer brought car in running like crap, so we have to fix it, right? Not, he brought it in, it was running fine, but now it's running crap after we worked on it. Of course not. You can lie with paperwork. So I tell people, don't ever believe paperwork when, say you're buying a used car, guy made up paperwork. Well, here's what was done. Doesn't mean it was actually done. I've seen so many, especially dealership work that wasn't done. I had a customer in Houston, had their transmission fluid changed by the paperwork at a BMW dealer 4 times. It had never been changed. So when I got it, molasses came out of it. They shared the paperwork. They said they changed it 4 times, over an 8-year period, but they obviously didn't change it at all. Don't believe paperwork. It's a bunch of nonsense. And in this case, they just lied. So, he brought it in to fix the oil leak. That's not our fault. PF Second says, do I need to add oil when I evacuate the AC system? If I vacuum out my AC, like you do in your videos, do I need to add lubricant afterwards? Or does the vacuum not affect the lubricant? All right, here's the thing. It depends on how slow or how fast you take it out and how your system is set up. You can measure how much oil comes out. You got a good vacuum pump. You can see vacuum pumps have oil in them, and there'll be a line. Make sure it's at the line, right? Then after you evacuate it out, look at it. They got a little glass circle and there's a line in the middle. If it's over that line, empty it out until it's back to the line. Then that's the amount of oil you have to add back in. Sometimes oil will come out. Sometimes oil won't come out when you evacuate a system. If you do it slower with the gauges instead of full open, partially open, generally not much oil is going to come out. But the vacuum pump will have a sight glass and it will have a line. Make sure the oil is at that line before you start. on a level surface. Then when you're done, if it's higher, pour it out in a glass until it's right at the line, and that glass will hold the amount of oil you have to put back in. It's that easy. Jay Stagg says, my struts bounce and feel loose. I got a 2016 RX with 85,000 miles. When I go at slow speed, it feels like the front struts are loose and bouncing. Are my struts going bad? The dealership didn't find any leak. Should I replace the struts? I'm surprised that the dealer just didn't try to sell you stuff, because that's what they always do. Feeling loose. Now, that can mean lots of things. You want to jack it up in the air. Watch my video. How to check out your own car suspension system, Scotty. Watch that on YouTube. Check the car up. Pull on the wheel. See if there's any play, right? It could be a tie rod, could be a ball joint, could be a control arm bushing, could be lots of things that give you a looseness. Doesn't necessarily mean it's the struts. Now, if the vehicle is structurally sound, then really the only thing left is the struts. And they will wear out. You got 85,000 miles, you know? And they don't always leak. Sometimes they just wear out internally. It's like somebody's got a heart murmur. You're not squirting blood out of your body, but you got a murmur inside and your heart's not working right. And the struts are the same way. They can break down internally and not leak, but they will bounce around. And especially look at the strut mounts, the rubber mounts on the top, because they'll break. If you jack the car up in the air and you see they fall down, that means the strut mounts are broken. Then when you put it back in the wheels, they go back in place. That's another thing you can check. But Lucas says, my car's shaking with new wheels, tires, and brakes. My wife has a 2018 Mercedes CLA 250 that shakes at high speeds plus 70. It's bad when I apply the brakes. Had the discs and pads changed. Even the mechanic changed the front disc twice because he was convinced it was a bad disc. I got brand new tires and wheels, but it still didn't solve the problem. One, go to another mechanic. One who knows what he's doing. That guy obviously is an idiot and has no idea what he's doing. You've got some kind of front end problem. The speed it starts doing it. Now you say you brake, it gets worse. Well, understand, if you have a problem in the front end when you hit the brakes, that grabs everything and that will accentuate a problem. You could easily have worn ball joints, worn tie rods, a problem in the power steering rack. You could have wheel bearings that are starting to wear out, because especially if your wheel bearings are where you hit the brakes, it'll start shaking at higher speed when you do it. But the guy you're dealing with is an idiot. I mean, he's changed the disc twice and it made no difference. He obviously has no idea how to check out a car. What you want to do is go to a mechanic who knows what he's doing, especially if you can find a specialty front end shop, and that's all they do. They've seen everything that makes any vehicle shake, rattle, or whatever, and they'll be able to figure it out. Now, the only problem is you have a Mercedes. There's a lot of front end guys that won't touch Mercedes because they say the parts cost too much, I need too many specialty tools to work on, and I won't work on them. So if you're lucky and you can find a good front end shop that will work on a Mercedes, go there. Because if you go to the Mercedes dealer, they're going to take you for a ride. That's how those boys work. See if you can find a good front end shop that knows their stuff, that'll work on a thing. Chance M says, I'm looking for a reliable, trustworthy mechanic near downtown Los Angeles. Well, the problem is you're living in downtown La La Land, and I'll tell you, I have met more crooked people in Los Angeles I went there than I've ever met anywhere in my life. It is like the land of people who will do anything for money and charge you as much as they can possibly get away with. So you're going to need a lot of luck to find somebody there. The rent is insane. The laws are insane. The mechanics there have to pay all kinds of taxes and meet all kinds of regulations. You're going to pay for it then. That's how it goes in La La Land. And you say you're going to live next to the USC campus. Obviously, you're going to school or something, right? That reminds me, years ago, I was living in Texas. And Austin, Texas has the University of Texas at Austin. It's a great, big, giant school. It's a great school, right? But, man, there's so many rich people sending their kids there. All the kids needed work done on their cars. They would just at the repair shops in downtown Austin, because they knew Daddy had money and they're going to take Daddy for a ride because Daddy might be way down in Houston and they're up in Austin, right? I had customers who would bring their kids' cars from Austin down to Houston. I'd fix them and then they'd take them back to school. That's how bad it was in Austin. And I'm sure it's 10 times worse in La La Land. Downtown LA, hey, whew, I saw prices when I was there. I met guys who ran shops. They were charging like $225 an hour labor. They weren't paying the mechanics that. They were taking it for themselves, but you have to pay the labor because you're the one paying for the bill. Good luck, though. Good luck. You couldn't get me to live in La La Land. Here's something you might not have thought of, but the Amish are using a new type of technology to get places. New to them. Electric bicycles. And I was the one that thought, well, the Amish can't use electricity. Each sect can pick their own usages. I know there's some in Pennsylvania that they can use electric bicycles, and the Amish are allowed to wire them with electrical appliances and stuff. The ones that we know in Kentucky, they'll build the trailers, but they won't wire them. They'll pay somebody else to put the wire in because they're not allowed to use electricity, but some of them are. And their logic behind it is, in the communities like this one in Pennsylvania that allow them to use electric bicycles, they say the reason we don't want certain technologies. We don't want to become dependent on other people. Okay? Now, in their case, these guys aren't running electric wires from generating stations. They're using solar panels and stuff to charge the batteries in the bikes themselves. So they're not becoming dependent. They have their own equipment to charge up the batteries. And as they say, does it make sense to saddle up our horses or to hook them up to our Amish buggies? You've seen the buggies. Drive them all the way. It's so inefficient when, say we're going to town, we can hop on an electric bicycle, in we go, back we go, right? Hey, interesting, you know? I guess even the Amish are becoming lazy like us regular Americans, that regular bicycles aren't good enough because it's too much work pedaling. So they like the electric ones too. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.